Be going live one more time today. We have the Australian fight card tonight. So it'll be Thursday night in Australia, headlined by Liam Paro, David Papot. We are going to go over that card right now. I'm going to give you my picks. All the Discord boys, I just gave you my method of victory. My lock of the week is a prop bet. That happens this weekend in Indio, California. The American card with Colazzo and Gabby Fondora's fight card. We actually have a lot to talk about. Everything from Tim Tszyu with some breaking news with Tim Tszyu to what happened yesterday at the weigh-ins in Australia. So as you guys are checking in and tapping in, throw the thumbs up, hit the like button. Let me know how it's crack-a-lacking. And if you're not in the Discord, if you're on this live stream and you don't see a star next to your name, you're not in the Discord. Join our VIP club. It's a couple bucks a month, a couple dollars a month here. That link is pinned in the comment section. Once you join, you get access to the Discord. Okay, so I just sent a voice memo to the Discord. I told you guys some insider information about one of my guys messaged me this morning. You know, I woke up to the message. He messaged me last night. If you would have watched the weigh-ins, you would have seen David Papot. This fight is Liam Paro's first fight at 147. Papot is the Frenchman, undefeated record. He has had fights from 54 all the way up. He weighed in a couple times over 160 pounds. So he actually missed weight. This is an IBF title eliminator at 147. That's what it's being marketed as. That's what the rankings suggest. All in all, the facts are this. We know that Lewis Crocker beat Paddy Donovan. Lewis Crocker is the new full world champion at 147. And this winner is next in line to fight for that belt. All the politics have to fall into line throughout for this to go down. But the facts are this. Whoever wins will position themselves for a potential world title fight. Now, you have to weigh in at 147. Papot misses weight. Usually, I mean, I don't know too many times that the commission gives a fighter over 2 hours to cut the weight. So they gave Papot, I was told, over 2 hours to make the weight. And he actually did. And, you know, from one of my guys who was there at the weigh-in, they played it on TV on the YouTube channel, but he was there watching. He said Papot looked terrible. He said the weight cut must have been horrible. He doesn't know if it was because he got to Australia late, didn't acclimate. But I initially said that Liam Paro, you know, first fight at 47, going to be the smaller guy. I was taking Liam Paro by decision. I'm changing my bet just so all of you know. I'm taking Liam Paro by stoppage. I think he's, you know, from now, Papot is going to be his strengths. He's a southpaw, just like Paro. He kind of moves a bit. I've seen him use the entire ring. I've seen him fight off that back foot. He's not a guy who's, you know, not a lot of volume. He's not really going to want to attack you on your front foot and put the pressure on you. And I definitely don't expect him to fight like that against Liam. I think Liam's going to go out there to make a statement. If you know anything about Liam Paro, this dude has a chip on his shoulder. This guy was sort of overlooked his whole entire career, even leading up to the world title fight against Subriel Matias. Think about it. What Australian, he goes to Puerto Rico to win the world title as a world champion. Why doesn't he fight in Australia? You know what I mean? He's a world champion. Why doesn't he fight in Australia? Because that's a promotional decision. He was still being promoted by a matchroom at the time. But that's also up to the camp. That's also up to the fighter. I know why he didn't fight in Australia against Richardson Hitchens, because he always felt like he was overlooked, especially in his, you know, coming up with other guys. When Liam Paro felt within Australia that he was being overlooked by George Kambosos, and we all know here, George was definitely overlooked by the Australian media, by Tim Tszyu. So that was kind of the pecking order. All in all, Paro fights with a chip on his shoulder. He's one of these downhill fighters. Once he starts grooving and cooking, yeah. So I've changed my pick. The fight happens in about 12 to 13 hours. I got Liam to stop Papot. As you guys are checking in, what's up, boys? PJ, who is your underdog? the Dana White card, I didn't post it. I put it in the Discord, mate. Guys, the Contender Series is, don't even bet on that. If the reason why the Dana White Contender Series picks are in the Discord is because a lot of the boys bet on it. So in the Discord, PJ, I don't know if you're aware, you have your own chat going on. You know what I'm saying? So they don't have to rely on me. I'll give you my picks, but I'm the first one to tell you these are prospects fighting on the regional scene. Don't bet on them. If you do, don't put a lot. Yeah, the insider information on the Dana White Contender Series, he got starched. DJ Green, what's up? Good hump day. Hump day, hump day, hump day. Incoming knockout. I think so. Do you have upset alerts? Yep, we'll get to that. UMG, New Zealand in the house. Adu, I think Paro definitely going to knock this guy out. He's on a path since losing to Hitchens. Adu, I agree, buddy. Let's talk about the full card now. Okay, so we'll go down this fight to fight. DJ, we'll start there. Do I think Liam Wilson gets the knockout? I actually don't. I still don't. I like Liam Wilson by decision. My problem with Liam Wilson, I mean, he's been sold to us. He's been sold to us, the Australian public, as a guy who could punch. But we've seen he doesn't throw enough volume. He doesn't. I feel like he doesn't have the proper setups at the highest level to land his left hook. So he's not Jorge Santana. You know what, man? You're making me second guess it because the more I watch Jorge Santana's tape, I'm not thrilled with it either, though. So look, what I'm gonna do is on the money. So I'm going 2 different tickets, right? This is full transparency. I tell you guys all the time. One ticket is always money line picks, right? And that ticket is going to overflow into the weekend. My problem with, I'm not sold on Liam Wilson being the biggest of punchers that people say he is, and his knockout to win ratio suggests that. But when we've seen him at the domestic level, he is a big puncher. He even fights more confidently. Now Jorge Santana, man, when you watch his tape, he's a Dominican fighter. He's young. Doesn't do a lot of things. He has kind of a padded record, but he's bigger. He walks around bigger. And then also, I don't like what Liam looked like during the weigh-ins, man. Liam Wilson looked like he had a freaking brutal weight cut. Did you guys see the weigh-ins? I'm not too I'm 100% convinced Liam Wilson does enough to beat Santana. I just don't know if I'm convinced. It's going to be one of those that if you guys pick the knockout or decision, you should be equally nervous about it. There are no absolutes in boxing. I am way more comfortable with Liam Paro knocking out Papot based off of what I saw Papot yesterday. And this is why I always wait to pick my method of victory props, because I want to see the weigh-ins. Because it's definitely a conversation we need to have. How many of you boys in the past nailed it because you watched the weigh-in, you saw something you didn't like or saw something you liked, and you kind of you picked your prop bet based on that? This is a huge integral element of sharp betting. Mar the Prince is back, the big fella. Mar, I thought you were... he must have just rejoined. Liam been stopped 3 times. Julius, we need to get your blue star back, big fella. Julius needs to sign up again. Let's get... I want to get to Julius's comment, but let's get to UMG's first. Does it go over 10.5? Okay, UMG. So, guys, I'm going to get to Julius's question. I'm going to get to DJ's as well. Mar the Prince, appreciate you signing up again. So it's just our VIPs. So UMG says, does it go over 10.5? So here's the thing that I told Muscles and Gary at the live yesterday. If you like Liam Paro by knockout, I don't think it goes over 10.5. I don't think it does. And if you think it goes over 10.5, take the decision. But yesterday I said yes. Yesterday I did the live stream before the weigh-ins. The weigh-ins hadn't happened yet. So I said I was taking Liam Paro, the over and by decision. Now I like Liam in the under 10.5 and the stoppage. DJ, but right, Jorge doesn't look that... Yeah, man, Liam Wilson's opponent does not look good on tape. Let me know if you guys saw anything I didn't see. Liam been stopped 3 times. Julius, yeah. So Liam's been stopped. You know, Navarrete, Oscar Valdez, and I think did he get stopped domestically? I think he might have got stopped domestically too. Against better opponents, though. That's right. Papot also missed weight. Subaru Matias looked skeleton last weigh-in. I got Dalton Smith. Welcome to the Discord, Mar the Prince. So Subaru Matias looked skeleton last weigh-in. What do we? He's not fighting. I'm confused. Oh, you're saying I'm not, guys. I'm not talking about judge a fighter from a weigh-in before in a potential fight. I'm talking about the 24 hours before the current fight because all weigh-ins are different. My pushback, Julius, on that is I watched Dalton Smith against Matthew Germain and he looked terrible. And Matthew Germain was sort of like a club-level Canadian. And Dalton Smith is supposed to be the super pro. He's fighting for a world title. So, I mean, the book on Dalton was like super athletic, super quick, good power, good volume. But then I watched a veteran in Matthew Germain confuse him. We watched Dalton Smith go for the stoppage in the first 2 rounds, then not being able to get him out, and then getting frustrated. And he was getting outmaneuvered by Matthew Germain. I'm not saying he was losing a lot of rounds. There were a couple rounds that I'd have to revisit the scorecards. We were live streaming it. But make no mistake, Julius, that fight was in Dalton's backyard, and he was supposed to stop Matthew Germain, and he didn't. So, I mean, granted, the styles are way different. Matthew Germain was on his bike the whole time, and Matias is not going to fight that way. So, you're right. I do have to revisit Dalton Smith's film study and see how he looked against front foot fighters. But Matias is kind of 1 out of 1. You know what I'm saying? You're not really going to find a lot of guys. You'll find guys who have that flat-footed marauding style, but when you mix that with that sort of thudding, accumulative power he has, I'm not sure Dalton has fought a guy like that. Matias has fought athletes before. I wouldn't bet against... you know what? Subriel is one of these guys. I bet against him. I'm 0 for 2 in Subriel's last fights. I took Subriel to beat Paro, and I lost. And then I took Alberto Puello to beat Subriel, and then I lost. So we'll see. PJ, what other fights on the Australian card? I'll get to those in a second. Don Julio. Yeah. So Darren Trujillo versus Lachlan O'Shea. It's a 6-rounder. Lachlan O'Shea is going to have the more experience. I think this will be Lachlan O'Shea's 16th pro fight. The odds have shifted wild. I told you guys the odds were going to shift last night on my live. I got Darren Trujillo at $1.68. Now on my books, he's at $1.34. Now, a lot of this has to do with people in Sydney think that Darren Gala is next. He trains at Bondi Boxing with Tony Del Vecchio. He's been with Tony since he was 16, 17 years old. This is a kid I watched come up when I was doing work at the gym, when I was managing a fighter there. And he's still green, though. But the thing about Trujillo, he's a front foot guy, a lot of energy. He has a lot of volume in a 6-rounder fight. If this was a 10-rounder, I would say it should be about 50-50. But Trujillo is not going to give O'Shea any time to get comfortable. And I totally expect Trujillo to win the first few rounds. And then he goes up 2-0 going to the third. All he has to win at least one more to get the draw. I mean, the draw is in play here. The draw is in play here based off of it being a 6-rounder. And Lachlan is from Queensland. I'm pretty sure O'Shea is going to be the A-side based off of he's the hometown boy. Yeah, O'Shea is durable. He has a 9-6 record. I like the distance. Breaking Bad just got a class. What's good, boys? Just finished my tape study earlier before and have Paro knockout. Papot, 2 separate fighters, round by round. It's insane. Yeah. Yeah, Nick, did you watch the weigh-ins too? Money Meat's got that green star, boy. Coming up, that green. That green. Guys, did you see we'll get to Tim Tszyu in a second. We're 15 minutes in. We're going to continue with this. I'm going to give you my picks specifically because you asked about Paro, Wilson, Darren Gala. There's a couple other fights. I'm pissed Paulo Acuso's not on the fight card. I wanted to see Paulo Acuso fight. That fight's off. You guys do know the best bridgerweight in the world is fighting? Do you guys know that? Talk about a weight class that should just be kind of 86th. When I used to work at bars in Las Vegas and LA, and if we ran out of like whiskey, we ran out of tequila. If you run out 86 Don Julio, 86 Crown Royal. So I wonder if people use that term 86, but I would 86 the Bridgerweight division. But the odds stink. Floyd Masson. Floyd Masson is I think he's ranked as the #1 Bridgerweight in the world. We just saw Floyd fight a month ago. I was at Floyd Masson's last fight, and the dude he's fighting, come on, man. Johan Linde. Johan Linde is a 43-year-old, 6'7", former Olympian turned lifeguard who took like 10 years out of boxing. No head movement. Oh, my bad. Floyd Masson, he was ranked at Bridger. He's a cruiser. Maybe he's yeah, it has him listed as a cruiser. I swear he used to be a Bridgerweight. Either way, the Bridgerweight division, you guys probably didn't even know that was a division. 86, eliminate. Decision, yeah. Adu, I'm taking Trahala by decision. So I'm taking Darren Gala Trahala by decision. I'm taking Floyd Mason by knockout. These are my method of victories. Trahala by decision. Floyd Masson by knockout. I'm taking Liam Paro by knockout. Man, Liam Wilson should stop this kid. Liam Wilson should stop this Dominican. I'll let you know for sure if I take Liam Wilson by knockout. But on the money line, the way it's going to... I mean, Floyd Masson, not a lot of value. We'll do this real quick. Masson on the money line, Trahala on the money line. I did take... Jacob Ng should beat Naito, by the way. I was kind of torn on Ng. I made some calls. Jacob Ng, I brought him up on the live stream yesterday and with Gary. This kid, Australia thinks this kid's the next star. He hasn't fought in almost 3 years. He was undefeated, and then they DQ'd him against Billy Dibb. Billy Dibb is obviously former world champion. He'll be an Australian Hall of Famer for sure. And in like the 3rd or 4th round, NG picked him up and threw him down in the fight, and he lost via DQ. This is NG's first fight back. He's in his home land of Queensland, and the dude, comes out dressed like a flamingo, very tall and long for the division. I at first was kind of torn on NG, what he would look like. He does a lot of things on social media. I was kind of torn on his focus and his commitment to the game. And, watching him this week, watching him hit the pads, everything I've seen with Ricky Naito's put there, I'm confident NG's going to win that. Now, Ken Aiken was supposed to fight Brock Jarvis. Sonny Knight steps in on last-second replacement. I was going to put Brock on upset alert against Aiken. Sonny Knight, he had a fight scheduled, but that fight was scheduled late October. I'm going to take Aiken. Aiken should win this fight. He's from Queensland as well. Wilson, these are just money line. Wilson and Paro. Yeah, not a lot of value here. Not a lot of value here. I'll post that. $100 gets your money back plus 129. So the money on this card, guys, is going to be how you played the method of victory. That's going to be the money on this card. Obviously, that's going to be the value. So what I like, if I could get Floyd Masson by knockout, not yet, not giving me the options. If I could get Trahala by decision, see if it gives me the options. All right, let's see what this pays. So if I take Darren Gala Trahala by decision, $2.10. We'll do this together. So Darren Gala by decision, $2.10 on the money line. Liam Wilson, right now, I'm going to go knockout at $1.83. This isn't confirmed. We're just kind of adding some stuff up. And then Liam Paro by knockout, $2.45. I think that's a goddamn steal. That's $9.41. I think that's a goddamn steal. See, the sports bet, the betting app, I guarantee that goes down. I guarantee if you want Paro by knockout, jump on him right now. By fight night, that's going to go down. That's definitely based on the record. That 245, because the decision's $1.79, that 245 is based off of them seeing David Papot's undefeated record never being stopped. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people didn't watch the weigh-in internationally. I'm sure I don't know if the Vegas sharp guys watched the weigh-ins. You would think they would have. If you really, really want to just bet on one, you put 1,000 on Paro to win by knockout, you get your money back plus 1,045. I like that bet. That's probably my favorite bet of the night. Liam Paro by knockout, 245. I'm going to put that bet in right now. So those three, it's almost 9-1. And then we're going to move on. I'm gonna get the boys. I'm going to catch up to everybody. So we got 43 in the live. Guys, hit the thumbs up for me. Hit the thumbs up. Brought out the towel and they still missed. As a chef, I appreciate that. Yeah, 86, brother. Got mad love for the line. Got mad love for the line, mate. Brandon, I used to work at a fine dining steakhouse in Las Vegas at Planet Hollywood, the Planet Hollywood Casino called the Strip House. And the Strip House is I think there were 4 of them. It's originally out of Greenwich Village in New York City. It's a fine dining steakhouse. The one I worked in Vegas, famous people, it was Arnold Schwarzenegger would be there. Bernie Mac, rest in peace, Cedric the Entertainer, all the celebs. But steaks would be like $200, and we'd have to go to the back, chef may I call sort of place. Yeah, Gabby by stoppage is my prop of the week. I got Gabby by stoppage at $1.50. I caught Fundora by knockout, $1.38, 100%. So I got her at $1.50. Follow Mike TV. Does Liam Paro? Yeah, follow Mike TV. What's up, buddy? If you rewatch the live, we're 22 minutes in, Mike. If you rewatch the live, I tell you why. Or you can message me on Instagram. I can break that down for you. Taro Farron, if the weight cut is bad enough. It is, man. The weight cut for Papot, he missed weight. They gave him a couple hours to make weight. A buddy of mine was at the presser for the weigh-ins. He said he looked terrible. They said they had to walk him to the stage. Trahala money line, NG money line, Paro knockout. Let's eat. UMG. That's what I'm talking about. That's a nice little ticket. Darren Galla money line, NG money line, Paro my knockout. Remember, guys, the Darren Galla fight's only a 6-rounder. Slap a little something on it, a little sprinkle. Vic in the house. You got 1,000 to put on one bet. I know some of you boys do. You know, I can't be some of the boys. You should see the messages I get, guys. That's why I never tell you how much I bet, because I don't want anybody to it's never about the money for me. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the advice. It's all about what I see. It's all about the craft. And the last thing I ever want to do is make anybody uncomfortable. You know, like when you see companies or athletes or celebrities, or they flex online and they post about how much they're betting, or, you know, what that shit, that's not how I roll. It's not my ethics. I don't want to make anybody, but, you know, anyway, on either side, you know, because if that's the case, people who floss what they win, all right, let me see the losses. Let me see the losses then if you're going to play that game, baby. What's going on? Crispy Chris in the house. Spill the beans. Chris, we're 24 minutes in. You got to be more specific. DJ Green went heavy on Paro. Me too. Me too, man. Hey, Johnny, you doing a live stream for the fights? Yeah. Chris B in the house. What's up? So the fights start. We'll see if I can stay up, man. I'm an old head. We'll see if I can stay up, bro. The Liam fights at 9 p.m. tonight. I put it this way, guys. Last night, I was in bed at 8 p.m. So we'll see if I can stay up till 9. I'll start. I definitely want to go live. I'll definitely go live. Of the money line bets, I want to tell you, based off of the bet I'm most comfortable with is the Paro by stoppage. I'm just torn on Wilson by decision or stoppage. My instinct is leaning more towards the stoppage. Based on, you got to think he made some adjustments. The kid, they're still pushing. He thinks he's a world title. I mean, he thinks he could be a world champion at 130. He just looked like he had a brutal weight cut, man. Did you guys watch the weigh-ins? Liam Wilson, damn, he looked drawn out to me. So that's either going to be, we'll see what happens. Jason Jr., Jersey Duval. All right, guys, so we're about 25 minutes in. I'm going to be quiet for about 30 seconds for the boys who just came in and give you guys the time to ask me any more specifics about the Aussie card. I covered all the fights already, but that was over the last 25 minutes. So kind of his opponent fell off stage as well. That's what I'm saying. Liam Wilson looked terrible at the weigh-in. And his opponent, the Dominican, 24 years old, he cuts a lot of weight. Chaz, even if and Chaz brings up a good point, Wilson's opponent almost had to get hospitalized. Liam Paro's opponent almost got hospitalized from the weight cut. Liam Paro's opponent missed weight. They gave him a few hours to make weight for the IBF for it to be a title eliminator, and he did. And when you watch Liam Wilson's opponent's fight tape, there's not a lot of good things to talk about. So Wilson should stop him. Do you think we'll have any upsets this week? Have a lot like last week, Santana, Jimenez, and Adams. Yeah, I picked 2 upsets. I won on Ryko and I won on Jimenez. I missed on Brandon, even though I called it. I told you guys not to pick Serhi based on him looking kind of loose. Let's talk. So UMG asks, do I see any upsets? Good question. We'll go down both cards real quick. Guys, I don't get betting options on those OTX cards. So I know there's Kurt Scobie, I think, is fighting this weekend. I don't cover those fights not because I'm not interested. It's just that for the live streams and for the Stats Don't Lie videos, I'm not going to invest time in doing film study and breakdowns in fights that I'm not even getting opportunities, A, to bet on, and B, to watch. So we'll go fight by fight. Do I see an opportunity for an upset? Floyd Masson versus Johan Linde? No. Trujillo versus O'Shea? I mean, Trujillo could be upset. You know what I mean? Like the odd. If we're talking upsets based on the odds, that's what an upset is. What does the book say? Who's the favorite? Who's the underdog? There is a play on Lachlan O'Shea here. There's a play on Lachlan O'Shea. Lachlan O'Shea has the more fight experience. Lachlan O'Shea is the veteran. Lachlan O'Shea is going to be the naturally bigger dude. Lachlan O'Shea is the A side. Lachlan O'Shea is the one fighting at home in Queensland. Darren Trujillo is the younger dude. He's going to be slightly smaller. He's a very green professional. He's coming from New South Wales, but he's the favorite. So even though I'm taking Darren Trujillo, based on the odds, Lachlan O'Shea could beat him. Because it's a 6-rounder, I think I would be, if this were a 10-rounder, based on what I've seen with Trujillo, because he's all gas, no brakes, I think a 6-rounder suits him perfectly for this, especially the way he likes to get out on top, win early rounds. Lachlan O'Shea is going to have to match that volume early on, so I'm comfortable. But to answer your question, Trujillo at $1.35, he could get upset. Jacob Ng at $1.24, he's fighting Ricky Nato. Jacob Ng, he's on upset alert. Now, the reason why he's on upset alert, we haven't seen Ng fight in almost 3 years. You know, he hasn't fought since his first loss, which he was winning. He lost a disqualification when he slammed former world champion Billy Dibb on the canvas. And guys, this was supposed to be a passing of the torch fight, by the way. This was a huge moment in Jacob Ng's career. This was supposed to be the sort of coronation of Jacob Ng as sort of the next one of the faces of Australian boxing. This was in 2022. This fight was in Queensland. This fight was built, the fight card was built around Jacob Ng. They were bringing in Billy Dibb for Ng to beat Dibb and then take all of that sort of, you know, you just beat a world champion. Now you're undefeated. You're only, I think at the time he would have been 26 years old. And, you know, his nickname's the Flamingo, all the marketing stuff. He like skin tattoo here. He comes out in the pink sort of, looks like a flamingo, real tall for the division. He's aggressive. He's very marketable, but he lost due to a DQ. And all that thing I just said just went away. And so did he. And we didn't see him fight. And he kind of left social media. So you got to think about that. You got to think about that. Ricky Nato, you know, isn't on his level, but, you know, you never know with these domestic fight cards. So NG at $1.24, Ricky Nato at $4.90. NG's on upset alert, boys. I'm telling you. So when I'm saying my parlay, the long parlay I have, I'm only putting a couple bucks on it, but I have NG winning and I have Darren Trujillo winning. And I'm going to put Trujillo on my method of victory prop as a winner by decision. So I'm just being as transparent as I can with you guys. And this is why the Discord is important, because in that Discord and a lot of you boys on this live stream, you're looking for my opinion and then you'll do your own bet. This isn't an echo chamber. I'm not telling you to, if you don't take my bet, you're an idiot. I told you to take my bet. I can't believe you don't listen to me. No, dude, do your film study. Listen to what I'm saying. Take in as much as you want from what I see and then make your own decision. You know what I'm saying? And I think we all agree on that, right? I think that's one of the things we're all here is because we see eye to eye on that. I'm not sitting on a throne here. You guys are all in my living room. You guys are all in my dining room. You guys are all in my house. You guys are all in Sydney with me. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I see. Now, Ken Aiken, Ken Aiken $1.14. I'm putting Ken Aiken on the money line. I was going to take Ken Aiken to beat Brock Jarvis. Does Sunny Knight beat Brock Jarvis? I don't think so. But, Sunny Knight at $6.25. What is boxing love? We love romanticism. We love an upset. We love an underdog story. Sunny Knight at $6.25, boy. You know damn well if this is how I think this is how all of us are. If this is the order of the fights, and Ken Aiken versus Sunny Knight is the co-main, and those other fights I just covered happen, and one of those fights lose, and my long parlay gets dusted, and my method of victory parlay gets dusted, and I'm starting from scratch going into this fight, Ken Aiken versus Sunny Knight, I'm going to take Sunny Knight because I'm getting $6.25, and I'm chasing now. But that's just an hypothetical. I'm just letting you know how. So like yesterday during the Dana White Contender Series, I only made one bet, and I gave you guys the bet, and it was shit. I think 3 out of 5 lost. But the one bet I was really keen on was a fighter that I didn't do film study, but one of my insider guys he's an MMA journalist in DC. And he's in the regional scene. He runs a promotion. He runs a regional promotion in the sort of DC area. So he knows these guys. And, I call him. He leaves me a voicemail. I shared that voicemail in the Discord. And in that voicemail, he told us to take Livingston over Gant. And so I didn't even do film study. I shared it. I put like $25 on Livingston as the underdog. And Livingston got smoked. Gant looks like he could go right into the UFC right now. Gant dog walked him. So my point is, from that point on, I was like, shit. There's 2 fights left. Now I'm chasing. So I threw $50 on the biggest underdog at 6-1 to win by knockout, and he won by knockout. So I won I think I won $300. But I didn't share that. I put it up on my Instagram. I didn't put it up in the Discord or the YouTube. But that was me chasing. So sometimes if you got the bankroll and if you could sprinkle something on the dog if you're chasing. You know what I'm saying? So back to my point. If my shit is dusted going into the Sunny Knight Ken Aiken fight, I'm going to take Sunny Knight at $6.25. Why not? You have nothing to lose because now we're doing odds here. But in the film study, on my long parlay, Ken Aiken should win this fight. But you see, my point is, as things happen throughout the fight card, this is why live betting is good. This is another reason why the Discord slaps. Look at me using a young buck adjective. This is why the Discord slap. So when I was coming up, we would say this is why the Discord is popping. That shit's popping off. You guys say slaps. I think it's the same thing. Is because through everybody in the Discord during fight night is watching every fight. And so then there's a constant conversation. It's like, damn, who's still got an active parlay? What's the move on this fight? And then some of the boys will be like, yo, the odds are shifting here. I'm going to go heavy on this fighter. And so this is what I'm talking about. The Ken Aiken Sunny Knight, in terms of value, if everything gets dusted, I'm probably going to take Sunny Knight. But right now, going into my long parlay, I got Ken Aiken. And hopefully that just helps kind of explain a little bit of the psychology of a bettor. Don't bet if you don't have a bankroll. Don't bet to get rich. Don't chase, even though I just told you how I do it. But I wouldn't really call that me. I wouldn't really say I'm chasing there. All right, here we go. Liam Wilson, Jorge Santana. Liam Wilson should win this. If Liam Wilson fought Jorge Santana 10 times, he would win 10 times. The question is it by stoppage or decision? Julie, you asked me though, UMG, is this an upset? I don't see an upset here. I definitely don't see Liam Paro losing. So there's a few fights, the 3 fights in the mid-range. Ken Aiken could get upset. Jacob Ng could get upset. Darren Gala, Trahala could get upset. The only way I would ever take the upset in those 3, though, like I said, if everything else gets smoked. And then that would be me then playing the odds, trying to chase. The one thing I must confirm, though, that I never bet the odds in my film tape. So, but that stuff changes during live betting. Hopefully you guys over time start to understand different methodologies, different sort of patterns of how to bet. And sometimes it works for you, sometimes it doesn't. Guys, there's times where I make my most money live betting after everything else. Like last week, I did so many hours of tape. I did too much tape. I was burned out. I watched too much tape last week. I started overthinking it. And, my huge bet with Canelo on the money line, I lost. But then I made it all back in Japan. Kind of chasing, taking the dog, even though I picked the dog to win. I told you guys not to take Yoshiki Takai. We ended up getting the Mexican at 5-1, dude. Let's go. So yeah, that's kind of my point. Let's see. I had a giant winning. Live betting could be free money. We stay lit. All right, guys. Do you guys want to talk about the Indio card with Gabby Fundora? Gabby Fundora. Brandon Moore's fighting. Did you guys see? I didn't know. So Brandon Moore's fighting DeAndre Savage. That should be a good dust-up. Kay Scott's fighting Olivia Curry. I think Kay Scott might... What card is this? She's an underdog in this card. This is an Aussie. She was an amateur world champion. So Kay Scott is 4-1. So Kay Scott had over 70 amateur fights. What's wild is she had over 70 amateur fights. She's 41 years old. She's only had 5 pro fights. She fights out of Sydney. She's fighting in Detroit. And she's fighting for a world title. Do you guys know this? So Aussie is fighting for a world title, the middleweight world title, in Detroit against Olivia Curry. Olivia Curry is 7-2. She only has 2 knockouts. She got stopped against Shadesha Green. Interesting. At 167. I might play the dog there. I didn't even know this card. What is this card? Brandon Moore versus DeAndre Savage. Who's promoting this? It's on DAZN. Are you guys getting action on this Detroit card? Because last time we had a Detroit card, we all hit that the GWOAT. That was all feeder fights. Clarissa, it was like 2 months ago when Clarissa Shields had that card in Detroit. We were all eating. Yeah, Shadesha is an animal. I was thinking of somebody else. Why? When I read Shadesha Green, you know who I was thinking of? I was thinking of I don't know why I was thinking of chicken, but yeah, Shadesha could crack. How are we playing Gabby by stoppage? I like Gabby by stoppage. So Gabby by stoppage is $1.50. I'm playing that until the wheels fall off. And you could say, she's 16-0 with 8 knockouts. Not a lot of women at 122 pounds have a 50% knockout to win ratio. It's Salida, Clarissa's promoter. Yeah. So what's up, Skeezy? So I'm thinking, the Brandon Moore fight versus DeAndre Savage fight, that's a good fight. Olivia Curry versus Kay Scott, that's a good fight. Develle Smith's fighting. And then good on Clarissa, man. Good on Clarissa Shields. Because I see a lot of the ladies on this card. Savannah Teeny is on this card. So let's see what we're getting though. Let's see what action we're gonna get. So they're giving me two fights. So if you take Olivia Curry and Kay Scott, I don't know why I might take Kay Scott. I have to do film study. I'll wait to bet on the ladies. The ladies I'm waiting on is obviously, if you really want Gabby Fundora, you got to jump on her now by stoppage. I shared that in the Discord. I put that up on my Instagram. Those odds are going to shift, guys. She's at $1.50 right now. All right, so we're 40 minutes in, guys. So Tim Tszyu, did you guys hear about Tim Tszyu? I shared it. There's news to talk about Tim Tszyu if you want to talk about Tim Tszyu. It's widely documented. I think a lot of fight fans on here know that he has been with the same promoter, Glenn Jennings. Shout out to Glenn and his coaching staff, which is his grandpa, and the same exact team that his father had. And so this was part of the romance of Tim Tszyu, right? Tszyu 2.0. But we've seen mixed results. We haven't seen the best results with Tim. And people were talking about Tim should retire based off of the fight against Murtazaev and the two fights with Seb Fundora. But Tim Tszyu released a statement yesterday. And Tszyu announced that he's leaving Glenn Jennings and he's changing camps. So my question to you is, because I was talking about it, I was going back and forth on my Instagram with some of the boys in voice memos, and I was telling you what I think Tszyu should do in terms of a coach, in terms of a camp. I want to hear what you guys think. Whoever has an opinion on that, where do you think Tim Tszyu should go? What coaching style suits Tim Tszyu in his style? Because my perspective is, at 30 years old, you're not going to teach an old dog new tricks in terms of how he operates mechanically. What you can do, though, with a guy is you could teach him different executions. You could teach him different tactics. You could teach him different game planning. And that's why different fight camps matter. You have certain fight camps who are known for being front foot fighters. And this is what I thought. So Skeezy says he would do very well with RGBA. And this is exactly what I think. I think that Tim Tszyu, now the only hesitation would then be is because Virgil is at 54 and they're in the same division. And, it's not that crazy to think of a potential Virgil Ortiz versus Tim Tszyu matchup down the road if Tszyu does find lightning in a bottle again and does hit a nice little winning streak. Because we know it'll only take Tim maybe 2 wins to put his name back in the, from here on out, Tim is going to fight big fights just because of the last name. I like him at Robert Garcia's camp too, because he's already, he's flat-footed, he's prodding, he's on the front foot, the body punching style of Robert Garcia, plus the game planning of Robert Garcia and sort of the tactics. But also you have a guy like Manny Robles. Manny Robles is a guy that, he fights, Los Angeles Boxing Club, I think is what they might call it now. But I think a Mexican style, somebody in America, I think he should leave Australia. I don't think that, and that's no shade on the Aussie fight camps, but, he has to think about sparring partners, bringing in guys like Michael Fox all the way from America to be your main sparring partner for Seb Fundora. It kind of made sense, obviously, because of the height and the reach and everything, but you can't just bring one guy. You want to be around killers. You want to be around a lot of different dudes that are giving you good work, that are testing you. And that's what he needs at this point. He doesn't need sort of walk in the park sparring. He doesn't need sort of a camp that treats him like a son and treats him like a grandson. He needs a camp to strip everything away. It's kind of like that scene in Rocky 3 when Rocky had lost to Clubber Lang the first time, and he then reconnects with Apollo, and Apollo takes him to his old coach's gym, and they strip everything away. And in that storyline, they needed to teach Rock to have him fight on his toes. So, you know, they needed to work on his footwork. They needed to take his base from a wide base, flat-footed guy to a very narrow base. You know, the whole famous scenes, you guys have seen the film. They tie his ankles, you know, they get him on his toes, you know, doing beach running. The point is, Tim, if he's really going to make a run, and it sounds to me in the messaging that he really still has the burning desire to be a world champion, he needs to strip everything away, throw the playbook away, start over from scratch. And I think the best thing for him would be go to a place where they don't treat him like a son. They don't treat him like a grandson. They need to treat him like another guy in the gym. And he probably has a lot of, he needs to prove it to himself that he could hang. He's been told since he was a pro in 2016 that he was the face of Australian boxing. Whatever way politically, you know, whether it was right or whether it was wrong, over time, when you start believing that you're the face of anything, no matter your performance, that is going to have an effect on something negatively. You can't just drink your own Kool-Aid. He needs to be around people that, especially when they're sparring, that they don't respect them. Abel Sanchez is a great call here. Abel Sanchez is a great call here, Moore. This is the sort of, I think that's the sort of pairing that would really do well. And because the thing about Tim Tszyu is he already has, I mean, fight fans adore him, kind of. You know, people will talk shit about Tszyu, but what I've noticed in my blog, on Facebook, what I've noticed on my YouTube channel, both in Australia and in America, he has fans, man, and they want to. He's one of these guys that they want to see him succeed. Mexican fans, because of that whole thing about he said he's a Mexican fighter, and I think he came out. Didn't he come out to? I don't know if he ever wore a sombrero, but he was kind of like endearing all of that. And who was he fighting when he was saying that he was the Mexican fighter? They were going to cheer for him. The Rocky movies, he lost Mickey, so sad he gets taken under his recent opponent, Paulo. Yeah. But anyway, we'll see what happens. He says he wants to fight by the end of the year, guys. It's already mid-September, 12 weeks. October, November, December. So he's been training. I know he's been, you know, posting a lot of shadow boxing videos. You'd have to think for a guy like Tszyu to have posted that yesterday, and if you're unaware of the post, it's on the YouTube channel, and I put it in the Discord, and it's on my Instagram. For Tszyu to have posted that, it had already happened. You know what I mean? He had already been prepared. It had already happened. So I'm just excited to see what the next announcement is, who he's training with. Because that being said, it's already happened, and he's already training. I would definitely take a tune-up. A nice tune-up at 54. What's a tune-up for Tim Tszyu at 54? Guys, let's see. Let's see what a tune-up is at 54. I'm going to go to BoxRec right now. It was Keith said, don't disrespect. Yeah, it was Keith. Darn it. Okay, let's see. Somebody throw some names out there. Arias, Luis Arribas, Luis Arias, Garcia and Abel would be perfect. John David Jackson. Don't disrespect Mexican style. So they currently have Tszyu at number 12 at 54. Do you think Tim Tszyu beats Callum Walsh? You think he would? He already fought Mendoza. A Brian Mendoza rematch? I know it wouldn't happen, but there's Alejandro Luis Silva, Michael Soro, Milan Prat. There's some tough guys at 54. Like, just fight styles. I know they wouldn't do it, but imagine putting Callum Walsh in there. Vargas. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. Guys, stay tuned. I gotta jump. I gotta roll. I got a client here in about 10 minutes. But we got fights tonight. I'm going live one more time today. Join the Discord. The link is pinned here in the comment section. I'm gonna post my long parlay for everybody on Insta and on YouTube. And then I'm gonna post my method of victory props in the Discord.